Hello, this is Mr. Ellison, and this is today's podcast, Creating Topographic Profiles. When we take a look at a topographic map, like we said before, the topographic map is simply showing us a three-dimensional display of, actually it's a two-dimensional display of a three-dimensional surface. What a topographic profile can do is it can allow us to see what this shape actually looks like by creating the side view or the profile view of this three-dimensional shape. So in order to draw a topographic profile, there are 5 steps. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to draw in each one as we go through or write down rather each one as we go through this in your notebook. So here we go. Step number 1. Step number 1 is going to actually be to draw a line along the points that you want to draw the topographic profile. So in this case we're going to draw a line from there to there, and we'll label that A and B. Okay, so step 1, draw a line along the point that you want to have the profile. Step number 2 is going to be to take a piece of paper and mark on the paper where the line you just drew crosses a contour line. Okay, so here's our piece of paper at the bottom here. We're going to move that up there, and everywhere that line we drew crosses a contour line, we are going to use our pencil and we're going to make a mark. There, 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 and so on, all the way across here until you get to B. Okay, so step 2 is to draw lines on the paper everywhere the line you drew crosses a contour line. Step number 3 is to write in the elevations of the contour lines that you just made marks on the paper with, or for rather. So we're going to write in the elevations for each one of those lines we just drew. So that first one up there is 350 according to your map. The next one's also 350, 360, 370, 380, 390, and so on. I'm just following along with what the map says. Make sure, by the way, that the lines you actually make, a mark for are actual contour lines, not roads or something else. So the third step is to write down the contour, the values for the contour intervals that you made marks on your paper for. In step 4, we are going to transfer those marks over to a piece of graph paper. Okay, so in step 4, here's our piece of graph paper. Notice I don't have any vertical lines on here. That's because the vertical lines don't mean anything to me here. I only want my piece of paper. So I'm going to bring my piece of paper over. There it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to make a mark at each point that I have that elevation. So that first point is 350, so I make a mark there. The next point is 350, so I make a mark there. Now, I'm going to slide my paper up with my pencil and make a mark at 360. I'm going to slide my paper up again and make a mark at 370. Slide my paper up again and make a mark at 380. Slide my paper up again, make a mark at 390, and we'll just continue to do that. So I'll just continue to, every time I need to make a mark, I slide my paper up to that point so that I know where the mark needs to go until I end up with something like this. Okay, so step 4 is to take the piece of paper and mark down the elevation values on a piece of graph paper. Okay, step 5 now. Step 5 is to connect them with a line. Now, it's not going to be a straight line. You know what we say that is? Wrong! In step 5, we connect it with a smooth line, a smooth curved line, not a straight line, so that we get these kinds of shapes here, the tops of hills and the bottoms of valleys. And that looks more like an actual profile of a hill rather than that. Okay, what do we say that is? Wrong. No, this is what we want. That is how to make a topographic profile. That's the podcast for today. What I'd like you to do is to complete the worksheet that you got from the sub today for homework, or if you didn't have the sub, if you had me for class today, that's going to be, I want you to do that for homework along with watching this podcast and taking your notes, and we will see you tomorrow.